Okay, I'm here with Fiona Muxlow, Invicta fighter who fought Chris Cyborg. And first of all, I want to ask, what brings you over to Malaysia?
I'm heading to Japan for a competition on Saturday, between jiu-jitsu competition, so I thought I'd stop off and say hi.
Gi or no gi?
The one on the weekend is gi, and the following weekend I'm going to the no-gi ones.
And you've been around quite a while. When did you start getting into martial arts?
I started training when I was at university, in my first year at university, and yeah, just started from there. I was 19, so I was a late starter.
And it seems like you've been into many Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competition, and I believe your last competition was in Australia, is it?
Yes, yes.
And is there any plans in going back into MMA?
Oh, definitely. I was hoping to get on the December Olympic card, but they're only having a small one, so I didn't manage to get onto that card. But looking for big things to come in 2014. So yes, definitely haven't stopped doing the MMA. Basically just looking at doing a couple of jiu-jitsu comps to keep myself active. They are once the Asian Open, once the World Championships, so there's certainly something I want to do. And then yeah, getting back into MMA full swing for 2014.
Right. And in your opinion, comparing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and mixed martial arts, which one is more difficult?
It depends. They're different for different reasons. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, especially with the gi, is a lot more technical, so smaller people can be a lot better at it, and dominate bigger people. MMA is a lot more athletic and dynamic. So that being said, the crossover between the two is quite broad, but you need to do the striking. Jiu-Jitsu doesn't usually hurt as much on the body.
Yeah.
It's a lot more fun to train for.
Nice. And you fought Chris Cyborg in April.
Yes.
Are you signed with Invicta, or was that just like a one
off? Before my fight with Chris, I signed a multi-fight deal with Invicta, so looking at going back and having more fights, definitely.
Cool. And in your opinion, how much do you think you have improved after the Chris Cyborg fight? And what changes do you think you'll do in the future?
I've been working a lot more on my stand-up and my striking over at Tiger Muay Thai, and concentrating on doing more in the Muay Thai. Just learning every week from my coaches Roger and Brian and Fernando, just getting more and more knowledge and being able to actually put that into place. In terms of my fight with Cyborg, it was just that first punch.
Yeah. It was brutal. I watched it on live.
Yep.
And the first punch, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, so was I. I've never, ever in my life, in all the training I've done, and in fact I've headbutted a car, riding my push bike, ever had a broken nose. A bleeding nose, and that's the first time ever it went from that first punch. And it didn't stop me.
Yeah. After that fight, do you still think that you ride on Brian's scooter?
I think I'll keep my mouth shut about, but I haven't. Since then, I haven't.
Alright. And if MMA was not around then and now, what would you be doing?
I have no idea. Probably sitting at home in front of the TV eating chocolate, being fat like I was before I started MMA.
Another one. If you're the ambassador of Asian mixed martial arts, what will you do to encourage the youth to start doing mixed martial arts?
Mixed martial arts or just martial arts in general?
Yeah. What will you?
Primarily mixed martial arts, or
the competition, joining.
Yeah, joining in. Advice would be to, like, in Australia, I'm involved in an organisation called Australian Girls in Gi that helps network for both women and young girls to become involved, because a lot of people think males and females, they can't necessarily do it because they're not aware of where to go.
Yeah.
So getting in contact with people, letting people know, like Malaysian Invasion lets people know where the different schools are,
Yeah.
so that people can actually get involved. You know, people think of that aren't involved in MMA think of it as a form of violence. It's a sport. Most MMA fighters are in bed early and up early because they have fights coming up, they have training, they don't go out and party, they don't go out and get into street fights. So there is a lot of respect for your coaches and your training partners because you do work so hard. So that would be one thing I would say.
Yeah. And women's martial arts has been growing since your first fight in Princess of Pain in Australia.
New Zealand, actually.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on women's MMA scene right now?
It's definitely growing. It was kind of, initially it kind of stagnated for a little while because people weren't used to it, or they weren't ready for it, or it didn't have good personalities as ambassadors for it. Not saying that any of the older generation of girls weren't good ambassadors, but they didn't have the media behind them. So it is definitely growing, and it's great to see the women fight on 1FC the other week.
Yeah.
That was very, very cool. I actually watched that fight while I was waiting for the taxi, so I didn't get to see all of it because I had to pack some of it as the taxi came early. But yeah, definitely good to see more and more promoters actually taking notice of the fact that the girls are there and they do want to fight and they do put on a good show. So.
Yeah, that fight was amazing. Very close fight, and
yeah, lots of knees.
Yeah.
Lots of knees.
And I believe Charlene was saying after the first round that Anne was crying.
Yeah, I heard that in the commentary, but as I said, I didn't get to watch it very closely because I had to get ready, and then halfway through the fight the taxi driver turned up early, so I'm going to have to sit down and rewatch that, but they're not my weight class.
And I know you've been around for some time, and how long do you think you can fight on?
As long as my body will handle it.
And where do you see yourself after your MMA career?
I own CrossFit North Queensland in Townsville, so I coach out of there. At the moment, I have some other coaches who are looking after it while I go away and train for MMA, but I will definitely go back to doing that and to coaching because I love being able to see people develop and grow as athletes. I have a degree in zoology, so I've always got the option of going back and doing a teaching diploma and being able to be a science teacher. Because I had, when I was in high school, I had really cool science teachers, and I think I like learning and I like passing on information. I'm not so much in the laboratory type of stuff, but I reckon I can help people learn and maybe work with some smart people.
I think I will ace your class because it seems like you will make the class more interesting. And if you could pick a fantasy fight for yourself, who would it be and why?
Got this email to me and I still couldn't think. Maybe I would like a rematch with Marlo's Conan with a good camp behind me. Because when I fought her in December last year, it was less than 2 weeks notice, and I hadn't been doing MMA. I've been doing jiu-jitsu comps. I tend to do jiu-jitsu comps in October, November, December. It's kind of the season for jiu-jitsu comps in Australia. So I'd only been doing jiu-jitsu, hadn't been doing a lot of striking. So if I had maybe a better comp up against her, that would have been a much better fight. Yeah, that's probably the one off the top of my head. There are so many girls out there now. There's so many women that are fighting that it's hard to pick one. But for me, for my experience, that would probably be, if I had to pick one of all of them as a rematch, that would be the one that I would. And that's the reason I took the Cyborg fight. Because whoever won that got to fight Marlo.
Yeah, cool. And will you be going back to Tiger Muay Thai after?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I have jiu-jitsu tournaments for the next 3 weekends. Asian Open, IBJJF, yep, No-Gi Worlds, and then I fly back to Australia and to do the Abu Dhabi Pro Jiu-Jitsu trials, which are in Australia. I get in on the 7th and they're on the 9th, so I'll do that and then I head home.
And so we will be seeing you next year in the cage?
Oh, definitely.
Alright, cool. Thanks, Fiona.
Thank you.